What's up, guys? This is Mr. TF Prime once again, and I'm very excited to bring the longly anticipated Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Deluxe Smokescreen. Now, we originally got a ARMS Micron version of Smokescreen, which is a repaint of the Knockout toy mold, but you can see here a brand new mold, brand new figure, looking very cool. I can't wait to get this guy open. But as usual, we have Predaking along the side here. It says Transformers Prime Beast Hunters. You see him in the robot mode in the packaging, as well as a picture of the armored vehicle mode here, which we know the armor does come off. It says it comes with an Electronet launcher included. Come over here. Got some technical data, some nice stats for him with another image, which this is the last figure of this wave. But you come on back here, we can see he has an Electronet launcher again and Shadow Quill armor, which kind of really looks weird on him to me. I don't know how that's really protecting him at all. But it says, again with the short bios, this Autobot trickster strikes quickly, then disappears behind a black puff of magnetic smoke. And again, we have him in the sports car mode and the robot mode. And we're still seeing the original Prime series characters here. And it says Transformers Prime. Obviously, you can follow them online at Facebook, Transformers.com, and YouTube.com. But without further ado, guys, let's open up Smokescreen and see what he's all about. And now taking a closer look at Beast Hunters Deluxe Smokescreen. Again, we're going to take a look at the directions. It says Tales of the Beast Hunters Chapter 10 continued from Deluxe Bulkhead. And we can see Smokescreen in here with a glass chamber which has scratch marks on it and it appears to be broken as if someone escaped out of it. And it says he has his Electronet launcher, which generates a shadow field that makes Smokescreen very hard to see or target, delivers powerful bioelectric shocks to enemies, can also be used as an electrified axe, which is interesting. I don't really see it being as an axe. But anyways, continuing on with the story, it says with Bumblebee injured and Bulkhead near total shutdown, it's up to Smokescreen to discover where these new and dangerous Predacons are coming from. Luckily, the Autobot trickster is also a capable spy, and soon he finds himself creeping through the shadows of a remote Decepticon lab. At first, he thinks the place is abandoned. Then he discovers a room lined with large glass chambers, each one filled with a strange murky liquid and the vague outline of a beastly machine. Satisfied that he's discovered exactly what Optimus Prime needs to know, he turns to leave, only to find Shockwave blocking his way. You should not have come here, the Decepticon scientist says, raising his laser cannon. Very cool. Continued in Chapter 11, Voyager Shockwave, which I can't wait to get. And now we have the long-awaited awesome Smokescreen, which he has a tab hole right here, and he's got one over here, which you could take his net gun harpoon thing, and you can peg it in there if you choose to do so and put it up like that. Or you can take off the net, slide this in, and just have that. Or you can just completely keep it off altogether. But we'll just slide this right back in here real quick, just so I can show you guys how this fires. Slot that in there. And then, ooh la la. It's nothing too great. It fires a good amount. And now we have the Shadow Stalker armor, I think it's called, which is amazingly just soft rubber, which is awesome because now you have a cool kind of Beast Hunters look that they could still go along with, and now you finally have a very cool look in Transformers Prime Smokescreen for your regular Transformers Prime line. And that's what I honestly think they did. I think they said, okay, look, we haven't given them a Smokescreen yet. The only one they have available is the ARMS Micron. How can we give them Smokescreen for the Prime series while still adding the kind of beastly effect that we want for the Beast Hunters line? And I think that's exactly what they did. They gave you this so you can have the spike still, and it's not molded in, and you could still have a Smokescreen here. So you could say, this is for my Prime line and my Beast Hunters line. Now, I don't think the paint job is near perfect. It could use a lot of work. Like, I think the headlights here, they're a translucent yellow. He could use an Autobot symbol on his chest. I don't think he had one on the actual hood of the car in alt mode, but I could be wrong. But for the robot mode, doesn't have one, which is something I wish he could have had. But the mold of the car is absolutely beautiful. I mean, he's nice and sleek and really streamlined as to he was in the show, which is really beautiful. And I'm sure Repro Labels is going to do a fantastic job at setting up these wheels, maybe giving us some black stickers to put over these like they did with Knockout. I mean, really give us headlights and maybe some detailing on the molded lights down here, as well as on the tail sections, maybe with a license plate. I really think this is one that they're going to say is absolutely worth it to fix, because he's a figure that we waited for so long, and the adjustments would just make him look so much better. Now, are they going to be doing that? I have no idea. that is just something that I hope they really do. But he does roll very nice, no friction at all with these sections under here. If you're having any friction problems to where he's rolling and one of the back wheels isn't rolling, it's because he rotates at the waist here, which is going to be like his feet section here and over here. So you just have to twist it until you get it just right. But he is a very nice looking car. Now, here is Smokescreen, and here's the rest of this series here. Now, I really just wanted to do a vehicle comparison, but I figured I might as well just bring them all in since I've reviewed them all already. But yeah, here's Bulkhead with him. Really, something different. Okay, he's taller than him, as he should be, but this is really a small figure. This is a deluxe here. He's just really heightened up. But you can see with Ripclaw here, the Dragon mode, even though this is a deluxe, it really towers over the car and gives that nice, huge beast kind of look that it should. As for Starscream here, he's just weird figure. But I don't think they're actually too far off in length here. Let me see real quick. Take this. Yeah, they're pretty close. So if you have the Beast Hunter Starscream, I don't know why you'd have this one before Smokescreen, but if you have Starscream or even the FE, you kind of get a good idea of the length of the car mode here. I mean, and then of course, I have to bring in one of the most unfavorited counterparts so far, and that is the Takara Tomy AM26, I think it is, Smokescreen, which is basically just the repaint and remold a little bit of Knockout. Now, okay, this is a much more shinier kind of paint job, I suppose. I mean, I like the look of the headlights better, but the mold itself, you can't go wrong with this. This is a reuse of the Knockout mold, whereas this is a brand new original mold for Smokescreen. So when it comes down to the vehicle modes, I'm definitely going to say this guy wins. I just really hope that Repro Labels comes out with something for him. Now, getting on the transformation. It can be a bit of a pain, but it does work. So you're going to come under here, and you want to untab this hood section here. Just come right under the hood here and pop it up like so. You can kind of, there you go, separate the legs, pop this open. This will separate from the windows. You can bring this out, that whole section there, open up the headlights here. I'm sorry, not the headlights. That's going to be the fog lights, I suppose. You can bring them out, fold in these windows here on the doors. Come over here, bring this up, flip out his head. Why am I having such a hard time flipping out his head right now? Alright, you want to be careful with these doors because somehow I put the head in wrong, but you got to push this out. Now, not that I put the head in wrong, but something got messed up to where I couldn't pull this out. I had to force it the other way. But anyways, these are on hinges, so you can swing them. But you're going to bring that head out, come over here, and these are on ball joints here and here. And these tabs right here will tab into the wheel sections. So pick any one of those, tab that in, lift these shoulder bits up, which are the fog lights, like I said. Tab those in, bring this up. That'll tab in right back there, like so. Sorry about that, guys, you couldn't see that. But I said to bring up these shoulder pieces, and then there's a tab right here that the wheels will just slot right into. So you can tab that in after you bring those arms up, swing this up, and there's a tab here and at the end of his neck that the chest will just slot right into. And then you come over here and slot this arm up, bring the hood over the roof of the car, and you can just swing that back behind his arm. Bring the shoulders down here, bring that up, just make sure that wheel stays tabbed in here. I don't know why they're coming out. And then once you do that, like I said, just put the hood over the roof here, swing it right behind his forearm. Then you rotate the waist 180 degrees, separate it, bring the foot down here. And this can go like this. It'll probably automatically come out for you. We're just going to bring this whole section down. That'll form the feet. And then you can rotate these out. And now we have him in his very cool looking robot mode. We have his Shadow Quill armor, which I've corrected now. And we have this little harpoon looking gun. But before I get onto attachments with that, we can see a very awesome looking Smokescreen. I mean, it's kind of weird the way it's molded down here to be the back of the car, so his foot's kind of arced, but he has no stability issues at all. He's got nice tight joints. These, like I said, will just kind of move up and down. They will fold out on their own or arc up like that when you push the feet down. My only complaint about this mold is probably going to be these sections back here. There's things like the paint job and some other minor things like the wheels being over here. That doesn't bother me too much. Those things are tolerable, but these panels back here are just really quite annoying. I mean, you come back here and they can pop off like that. I wouldn't recommend constantly doing this because I feel like eventually they're going to strip and break. But I mean, that is an option. So now you don't have so much kibble back there. You only have really the roof sections now. And you can't do it to this because these are on pins within his forearms. So those don't pop off, as to where these are just bits of plastic that just clamp on. So I mean, those are your options with how he's going to really look on your shelf. But I mean, he's a great looking figure. I mean, he's really solid. He feels really loose when you're transforming him. But once you push them together, he's really a nice, stiff, and sturdy figure. And you could come over here and swing these to the side if you didn't want him really sitting behind his forearms. That is an option as well, but now they kind of look like weapons rather than the roof of the car. But popping his hood back on his arms, we'll take the Shadow Quill armor here, and you can see there's kind of slots, tabs right here on each side that this will slot into. So you're going to take this and just see the little tab holes here, and there's one on this side. Just kind of slot those in. One there. And the soft rubber, I mean, it works good because then you're not going to break anything when you're attaching this to the alt mode or to the robot mode. But as you can see here, it's just really silly looking. Like I said, I don't get how this is considered armor or how that's protecting his body at all, because all it's protecting is really his armpits and giving him a little thing over his head. So I don't understand that. And they said this is also an axe. So I guess they'd say, oh, take the missile off or out of the gun. And now you have this. And like other reviewers have said, you could take this and you could slot this in here. I mean, but I can't get the whole entire tab in. And it is quite a pain, so I tend to not do it. But you can plug this in here and put it around a Predacon's head or something. So he's got like a little capture net. But I mean, what I prefer to do is have this in his hand and just have a regular gun. I think that looks way cooler. But also, you could take the Shadow Quill armor right off. It just simply, well, I thought it was simply, but for some reason this isn't untabbing. There you go. Pop that off. And the missiles can store, or missile, there's only one. There's kind of things over here you can see that can hold a missile as well for when he's in vehicle mode. Now this is not at all an accurate gun for him, but it actually kind of works. It looks cool. It kind of gives it like a G1 sense to where he's holding a handgun. But he's a good solid looking figure. Now for some comparisons, we're going to take off his gun, set him up over here, and we'll bring in his Arms Micron counterpart, Smokescreen. Now you look at this and you say, okay, wow, definitely the better figure. And I agree with you. But this right here, the paint is so much better. Here's something I didn't mention. The checkered doors here, the number 38 doors, they're not checkered here, like a racetrack or whatever. It's really unfortunate that he doesn't have the proper paint job, even though he is the better mold. I think the proper molding outweighs the proper paint job. Now the head sculpt on him, I like a lot better than his. Not that his head sculpt is bad at all, because they did give us the proper paint job on it, but I just think that like the kind of longer face works better than this one. But like I said before, he's missing the Autobot symbol on this mold as to where he has it here. And this is where I'm really thinking Repro Labels, again, like I keep saying, is going to come out with something great for this guy, because I think he's well worth having the proper paint job. And the head sculpt here, I haven't tested it yet, but I'm going to pop these ball jointed heads off. Well, I was going to say you could pop off the ball jointed heads here and put the properly painted Smokescreen head right on here and have your Arms Micron one looking really different. But the ball joint is on the mold, as to whereas the Arms Micron ball joint is attached to the head. So you can slot them into each other, but it's not going to work. So you cannot exchange the heads. But yeah, absolutely, guys. You got to go for this Smokescreen. I mean, he does have the proper paint job, but he's just knockout. He's not his own mold. I mean, this is really just... And the one thing I love about this figure is how straight the doors come out here. We finally have a figure that actually has his doors properly coming out of his back. Like Bumblebee never had that in the Prime series. They always messed up on that. I mean, you can use his Arms Micron weapon to kind of make it look nice, but this is just so much better. And like I've said again and again, he has the proper black knees to where his are red. His paint job is completely wrong as to where his is more show accurate. And now just for a more fun comparison, here we have Smokescreen, and here we have the rest of Team Prime with him. And now to me, this is one of my favorite shots. And I'm going to change something up in a minute, but you can see this is a very awesome looking line. We have First Edition Deluxe Bumblebee, First Edition Voyager Bulkhead, First Edition Voyager Optimus, RAD Deluxe Wheeljack, RAD Deluxe Ratchet, and First Edition Deluxe RC. And not that there's anything wrong with the First Edition RC, but to me, this is just the better mold. Not the paint job, just the mold is just way better and just looks more like RC. Now this is exactly how I want my Prime Series Autobots shelved. And I didn't do it at the beginning. I'm not going to bring in any of the robot modes of the Wave 2 of the Deluxes for Beast Hunters, so I'm just going to put these all back in vehicle form when we transform him back into his car mode, and then you can see the car modes with him. Now for his articulation, his head's on a ball joint like I said, and it can go pretty much all the way back, but the chin does get caught on some things, so it's not really going to get a full 360 out of it, but it moves good enough. It can tilt left and right, and not really forwards at all, but these shoulders can move up like this, and he's on ball joints here, so he can rotate around 360, but the shoulder does get in the way. He has a swivel right at the elbow, or right above the elbow, that can go completely around. He can bend at the elbow forwards on a ratchet joint, back down. The waist can rotate 360 degrees, ball jointed hips, out and in, forward and back, bend at the knee, go back down. He can't go all the way back, but he can go a fair amount. And the feet can go, up and down a little bit because of transformation, or all the way up if you move the shins out of the way. Why you would do that, I don't know. The wings here do go up and down, but that's because of transformation, but they just slot in right behind the head. But overall, a very awesome and promising figure. And with these right here, they're bolt jointed here at the shoulder, but they can swing up and down. So if you want him like really low and have his shoulder down like that, you could do that. Or you could bring it all the way up like this and have the shoulder really high. It's really user preference as to how you want your Smokescreen to look, but man, this is really a long-awaited and much-needed Smokescreen. And just to show you, here's a nice little action pose you can get him in if you want. Now, transformation goes as follows. This is the one thing that, other than these arm kibble bits here, that really is annoying is the transformation. The legs aren't the hard part. It's this whole assembly up here. But what you're going to want to do is take these shins and rotate them in like that. They'll just simply untab from in here. You can flip this up, push that back down, do the same thing over here. Then you want to tab these together, like so. Rotate the waist 180 degrees, and now the whole back of the car is ready. And here we go. You're going to want to untab this and lay this flat here. Tuck his head in. The doors here should untab. Bring out the windows, and you can slot them down here. Well, untab the wheels. Just get those ball joints out of your way. So once you untab those, bring these sections down here. Okay, those wheel sections are really a pain. You're really going to have to shimmy the doors around them, but you just slot them down there like that, and then the windows will align with the back of the car there, as you can see. Then you want to rotate the wheels around, and that ball joint popped off like so. So we're just going to pop that right back on. Then we want to, man, this is a series of rotations that is quite a pain. So you're going to want to make sure that the hood of the car is over the top of the forearm. That is the reason why they're there. So now you can bring that over there. Just kind of lift up the hood for now and just kind of slot this in. And there's a tab on the window that'll tab into the roof of the car. So we'll just kind of sit this in there and tab that in, and then also tab in right down here. So now you have that section done. Now you have to come over here and do it again. Rotate the ball jointed wheel. Make sure that the roof is over the top of his forearm. Forearm's going to lie in here. Kind of force this all in so it lines up just right. Rotate that swivel. Make sure the ball joint is facing you so you can see it like inside the shoulder, or this isn't really going to work for you. So get this in here, and again, these have to tab into each other, as well as tab into the window, as well as tab in to the roof of the back of the car. So once we get this all slotted in, pull that out, tab that in. Why am I having difficulties right now with this? There we go. You know what? It'll be much easier if you tab all that in together, and then you bring the back of the car with it. So now you have this. So now that that's all set, you can come over here and tuck his head in, lift this forward, the hood will not tab together. It just slots in with the rest of the car here. So you could take these, which were his shoulder pads, and you could bring them forward. They will tab together, just like so. Tab this all in, give everything a nice tight squeeze, and you can put that down like so. That just kind of lays there. It doesn't really, you know, stick to anything or tab in. Keep squeezing. It's really quite annoying transformation, but it rolls nice, so everything's good. And like I said, if one of these back wheels isn't spinning when you're rolling it, it's because the waist piece is here, and you just need to twist it so that it evens out. But now we have him back in the very cool looking car mode. And like I said I was going to do for you guys, here's the rest of the vehicle modes of the best figures for your Prime series. Now I think first edition RC overall looks better than the RID in vehicle mode, just because of the sheer paint job, because the vehicle modes are just about the same here. They're about the same size, and they're pretty close. It's just really the paint jobs are mainly different. So me particularly, I really prefer to have, in vehicle mode, first edition RC out. But overall, like I said, guys, he is a really, really nice figure to pick up. Like, honestly, I can't think of another Smokescreen, because that Arms Micron just doesn't work for me. I mean, you do have the option of getting the Arms Micron, if that's what you prefer to do, but really this is gonna stick with me as the preferred mold. And as I said, there's really tiny tabs under here that you can't see all too well. They're really nicely hidden under the number 38. But you could just take this, slot that in there, do the same thing over here. There's another tab there, and you could slot that in, and now you have the Beast Hunter look to him. So, and of course the missile does store in there, like I said. Or you can take that out, put it around this little net harpoon thing, pop that in, pop in his gun, and though I don't prefer this look, this is really what they tell you to do. So there's Beast Hunter Smokescreen now, but who wants that? So I take this all off, and now I have an awesome looking Transformers Prime Smokescreen. So all in all, like I've been saying, he's absolutely a fun figure. The transformation is a pain. And one more thing, as I was just about to finalize this video and finish up, a piece of plastic popped off. That is on the ball joint of his head where the light piping is, which he does have very good light piping, and I don't know if you can see this, you probably can't, but a piece of that plastic just broke off from when I popped off his head to show you that he could not go on the Arms Micron's head and they couldn't switch. So I would definitely not recommend to do that, because the head's still staying there luckily, and I'll probably fix it up with some Scotch tape. I seem to be favoring Scotch tape a lot recently, but yeah, a piece of that just did break off. Now, I don't want that to turn you off from picking up this guy, because he really feels solid. The figure is absolutely nice. That just broke off because of my stupidity and pulling off that ball-jointed head. But really a nice looking figure, and really says Smokescreen to me, especially in the vehicle mode here. I love how the doors stick up in the back of him in robot mode. He is kind of thin and sleek, and he could use definitely some paint apps that I'm hoping that Repo Labels comes out with. But overall, beautiful figure. But hey, if you guys enjoyed the review, hit that subscribe button, like it if you liked it, comment down below and let me know what you think of the new Transformers Prime Beast Hunters Deluxe Smokescreen. I do brand new reviews every Tuesday and Friday. And once again, guys, stay tuned for more giveaways. And once again, this is Mr. TF Prime, and I want to thank you for watching.